like 6:30.
Nope, it's 6:30.
Yes.
It's 6:30. Notice to hereby given that a meeting of the City of Sandy Oaks Planning and Zoning Commission will be held on Thursday, July 18th, 2019 at 6:30 p.m. at Sandy Oaks City Hall located at 4451 Hickory Haven, Sandy Oaks, Texas 78112 for the purpose of considering the following agenda items. All agenda items are subject to action. Call to order. Quorum call. Joe Portman.
Here.
John Crickmer.
Here.
Pedro
Here.
Odruno. Stephen Groover.
Here.
Groover.
Here.
Pledge of Allegiance.
Wait, so we do have a quorum.
We do have, we meet quorum. Pledge of Allegiance.
Yes.
Please stand for the pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I move.
And did you get the minutes? Does everybody have the minutes?
I have the minutes. Everybody has minutes? Does everyone have the minutes from last?
You have a spare?
No?
I'll share it.
So do I move to,
You'd have
Motion.
to ask a motion. Ask for
I
a
move we
motion.
approve the meeting minutes from the last.
there we go.
I second the motion.
Are the microphones on?
So you have a
Can you check
motion
it
and a second.
Please.
They're not on the microphone, but I can't hardly hear anybody speaking.
Oh, my God.
They're not on. I don't have them.
Didn't turn them on?
No.
No, we're not even plugged in.
Pull it.
There's the little power cord is laying on top of it.
Melissa.
Isn't that the power cord?
I didn't even know you came in.
Cool.
Okay.
Is there a switch?
It's on.
Now, turn your microphone on.
How do you turn it on? Oh, hold on.
Government and
We
action.
good? All right.
Do
Okay.
it again?
No, you have a motion and a second.
We have a motion and a second.
So you need to call for a vote.
All in
Show of
favor?
hands.
All- Show of hands.
Can I have a show of hands to approve the meetings from May 30th, 2019? All in favor?
Okay.
It is unanimous.
Unanimous. Okay. So do I have a motion to move? Or a
No, you
no?
move on to number 4.
Number 4.
Number 4. Okay. No,
Motion
that's
to
what I'm saying.
discuss.
Yeah, motion to discuss.
Can you put the mic closer to you?
On
It's
number-
really hard to hear.
On number 4,
Can you hear me now? Okay.
Thank you.
Yes, on number 4.
so read the item.
Discuss and/or possible action of recommending certain locations as commercial property.
Okay.
Discuss away.
Do we have a motion?
Well,
And
we
second.
need to discuss what you want to do.
You
So,
need to lay it out for us.
yes, so yes, that list there.
So read them all, I guess.
I would start, yeah, from the top.
Okay. The existing commercial sites, Valero, the shops, and Dillon, plus the vacant land along Priest, just north of Waterwood Pass, need to be designated. Dillon, because City of Sandy Oaks has been working with them and MH Outdoor for 3 years on placing a large billboard on the highway frontage. This involves, because it involves TxDOT, they're requiring something from the city indicating that the location is designated as commercial. And once we have that from the council, we can move forward. We should also consider maybe some additional properties from commercial designation. The property at the intersection of Waterwood Pass and Silver Chalice. It's the Green Home. It's currently an office for the EEAC, who's selling properties in our neighborhood or in our city. Another location on Skila that has about a dozen dump trucks on it. with a maintenance shop. Currently, that site's listed as vacant residential. On Priest Road, heading towards Lamb, is a tire shop on the east side of the road. Should I say, John doesn't have a vote? I believe he.
The
he
ordinance
li-
as
he
it's
lived-
I will
written,
recuse.
well, the ordinance as it's written is that if any
Yeah.
member on the commission owns property within 200 feet
Yeah, he can't.
of any property under consideration, you would have to recuse yourself.
Okay. There's also another place on Shady Forest, just south of Waterwood Pass, that shows on our map as public use. It's an old Saws Bear Map property that was sold and is now a residential lot.
There is another property, and if we look at the map over here, I don't know if you've all had a chance to look at the map,
Yeah.
but the Chuck's Auto is listed as a residential, and it should be, at least for our zoning purposes, designated as commercial. They're already set up for tax purposes as commercial, industrial, so they're set up with Bearcat correctly. We just need to designate that here within the city.
There's quite a few businesses that run inside Sandy Oaks.
Yeah.
Lots of them with trucks, lots of them that do hauling.
Mhm.
So where are we going to make the
I can't
division?
hear you.
Where are we going to make the division?
As far as the trucks in the city.
Well,
If it's-
there's quite a few businesses that run out of Sandy Oaks. You know, I mean, probably 30 that I can call off the top of my head. So, what are the criteria for designating a lot a business or
Well,
a
if it's,
commercial lot?
right now, what we're considering are properties that are being utilized 100% as commercial. So, you know, like the Chuck's Auto is totally 100% commercial. The trucking company that's on Skyla is not a vacant lot. It's being utilized as a commercial property.
So if there's a home there and commercial, then it's residential?
Well, it depends on what they're doing with the,
That's what I'm asking.
yeah, because a lot of people maybe do their bookwork out of their house, but they're not
It's not visible from the street.
true.
Yeah.
Yeah, so right now, I mean, there's going to be more opportunities to have these more in-depth discussions.
Okay.
For right now, we're just trying to focus on,
The major offenders?
well, I don't want to call them offenders, but the opportunities to clean up some of the issues that are pretty obvious.
Okay.
So like the one property that's
Poor choice of
on,
words,
the
but-
one property that's on Shady Forest that used to be a Saws property,
Yeah, they just built a house on it.
they have a house on it. And one of the reasons to change the designation on that is it's currently listed as public use, and it's not public use.
Right.
So
Correct him.
we need
Would
to
love
change
to have bought
that.
that lot.
Yeah.
All of us.
Okay, so based on the list that you have there, the goal of the commission is to make recommendations to present to council, so the council can make those ultimate decisions. So if you want to go down the list and maybe take a vote on each one of those
Okay.
from everyone that's here, because John can't vote on one of them.
Okay.
And then at least we'll have that part done.
Okay, so I just read it out and then somebody will.
Yeah,
Right.
so she'll read the first one, then somebody will make a motion, somebody will make a second, then you'll call for a vote.
Okay. The existing commercial sites, Valero, the shops, Dillon, plus the vacant land along Priest just north of Waterwood Pass need to be
Aye.
designated.
I move we designate those as commercial.
I'll second.
Do I have a vote? Is that what I
No,
said?
you
No, do
say-
I have
yeah.
You say
Show
now I have a
hands.
first and a second, and
my first, second, and then can I have a show of hands?
okay.
Okay, all in favor?
The motion is carried
The
unanimously.
motion is carried unanimously.
You're welcome, babe.
This is tough.
Hey, it's new for me too.
It is. Dillon is a special case because, again, I can move on to the next, correct?
Yes, you may.
Yes, okay. Dillon is a special case because we've been working, City of Sandy Oaks have been working with him and MH Outdoor for about 3 years on placing a large billboard on the highway frontage. Because this involves TxDOT, they are requiring something from the city indicating that the location is designated as commercial. Once we have that from the council, they should be able to move forward. Do I have a first? Yes.
Oh,
And a second?
A second.
And a show of hands. It's unanimously,
The motion is
the
carried
motion is
unanimously.
carried unanimously. Okay, you're gonna
I
have
watch
to help me with,
C-SPAN. I watch C-SPAN, what can I say?
you're gonna have to help me with that one each time. Okay. We,
Still in Sandy Oaks. Yeah, they can
Wait, no, we're not open for public
Yeah,
comment.
it's not open for.
Um,
Whatever. Okay. Again?
we also need to consider some of the additional properties for commercial designation. The property at the intersection of Waterwood Pass, Silver Chalice, currently an office for EEAC who is selling properties.
Is that a misprint or is it really slime green?
No, it's really slime green.
But he's living there. I thought we're not supposed to have residential and commercial
Excuse
combined.
me.
You should excuse yourself.
I move we designate that lot commercial.
Thank you very much. Do I have a
I'll
second?
second.
Okay,
Wait, who's second?
me.
John. May I have a vote? Unanimously, it unanimously carries something.
You want me to write it down?
Yes, write it down for me. Here, right here. Okay,
We need to make some flashcards.
yeah, we do. Another location on Skila that has about a dozen dump trucks on it with a maintenance shop. It's listed as vacant currently for residential use. This is the one, no, this is not the one that's next to you. They pay about $52 in taxes.
Actually, it's
don't know if you
82
can
and some
read that.
change
82.
a year.
Motion is carried in. Okay.
Maybe they should pay for
Do I have a
I move that we
move motion?
designate that lot.
I second the motion.
Second motion.
Are there addresses?
Do I have a,
You don't get answers.
can I have a show of hands? The motion is carried unanimously.
There's no addresses.
Okay. On Priest Road, heading toward Lamb is a tire shop on the east side of the road. This is the one that John lives next to. May I have a,
I move that we designate the tire shop as commercial.
okay, second? Okay. Show of hands? The motion is, I'm sorry?
Except John.
Oh,
The
except John,
motion is
yeah.
carried unanimously with extension by John.
Yes. Without John.
Without John.
Okay, there's another place on the Shady Forest, just south of Waterwood Pass that shows on our map as public use. It was an old Bear Metzaws property that was sold and is now a residential lot. Do
I move that we now designate that as residential.
I have a second? Second, Stephen, second. Show of hands? Okay, motion is carried unanimously. And then Chuck's Auto, we need to do that one as well, yeah. Chuck's Auto designated as commercial and industrial use.
I move that we designate Chuck's as commercial.
Second,
Catherine property has a house on.
I'm sorry.
And
And
Stephen,
then,
who said that?
House is on
Stephen
one
Gerber?
lot, the shop's on another.
I said that.
Thank
I
you.
told them there was two
Excuse me.
different addresses.
Okay, so John,
John's-
Joe Portman made
I
and
made the
Stephen
motion.
first
second.
the motion
Okay.
and then
Seconded,
Steve.
yeah.
And the vote?
Stephen second the vote. Show of hands, the motion is carried unanimously.
Okay.
You'll be in the White House in no time.
No, yeah. I don't want to go there.
Kidding.
Okay, were there any other properties that anyone wanted to talk about, or?
Are there any other properties anybody else wanted to discuss?
So we move on to number 5.
Okay,
So this is gonna go on the city council and they're gonna vote on it, right?
Yes.
So we
Yes.
just recommend
we
it.
just recommend it.
Make the recommendations.
Yes,
and the council
and then it
votes
goes
on
to city council.
This is not on the agenda, but maybe we could do a little more in-depth survey.
Okay, so
For our
first of
next
all,
meeting?
if it's not on the agenda, we can't
Okay.
talk about it.
All right.
Okay, so do I need to,
You need to read number 5.
okay, remember. Presentation by Tony Salcedo with Mendez Engineering regarding master plan with possible discussion and or action.
You
You're
are
up.
up, Tony.
Okay.
So you guys, got a copy of that?
Yes,
We
sir.
do.
It's some help. Okay, it's a little bit of help. It gives you an
Enlighten us,
idea
Sensei.
of what it grows. So in the master development plan that we're creating for the city of Sandy Oaks, the P&Z committee is one of the key committees that has input for the master development plan, okay? So it is out of this committee that you get the goals for the development, the zoning that you're doing right now, and stuff like that. It's where we set our goals, our priorities, of where we want to go as a city. We put it on a master development plan. So once we create the plan, then as you develop it, as you change things, you have to follow your plan. That's a key thing. That's why you have the plan. You have a guide as to what you're doing. So if somebody on left field asks for a change of zoning for a particular reason, it's got to fit the plan.
Yeah.
So just because you have the plan doesn't mean that it's set in concrete. There's flexibility to everything. So if he doesn't meet the plan and he wants to zone, he has to amend the plan so that he can get his own. So it's a big different process that develops this. So it keeps you inside this 2 lanes and going forward. And you want to do that. You want to stay within it. That way, no one can really change a lot, or go really left field.
Yeah.
So some of the goals that we need to have, or we like to have, but we got to talk about that. We got to throw it around. Some of the goals we got to have is to how is it that you want to grow it? What's going to be considered commercial? What's going to be considered residential? Here, you don't have too many different types of commercial, right? That you could have a business commercial, you could have an industrial commercial, right? So you're mainly going to have, pretty basic residential and a few commercial lots, that wherever you designate. You can designate or plan future commercial areas that you'd like to see, because that way, even though it's not zoned that way now, if a person that lives there decides, I want to be commercial, when they ask you, it's already within the plan. You already wanted that. So it's an easy yes. It's an easy, yeah, go ahead, do it. Right? So that's why you have the plan. If you are going to change zoning to commercial, during this process, is you set the rules for doing that. If you're going to change a property from zoning from residential to commercial, you have to protect the residents around that commercial site. This is where you decide how you're going to protect those residents. So do you include the buffers? How much buffer? What are you going to make him do to protect himself or to protect the residents from him? So these are the type of things that you have to decide on, how you're going to handle your changes in your zoning as we go forward. The open spaces, which is the entry, the parks, what do you want to do? How do you want to grow them? That's where you set the plan for the master plan here. Your roads, prioritize how you're going to fix them. And then establish your larger commercial sites. Now, for each goal, there's a process. For each goal that we have, there's a process that we have to implement. So today, I came here to tell you that you're about to have a big job, right? So this is a kind of a surprise, I can see. But we'll work together. I mean, I'll try to get you as much information as I can as to how you can proceed and go forward and make these decisions. It's not a bad thing.
Yeah.
You're just setting your goals, that's all. And it's going to help everyone, in here. It's going to help your city grow, and in a way that you all want, that everybody wants. They're going to have a say as to what goes in that plan too. We're going to get to them here soon. Okay, so it involves the whole community. It's not just you.
Yeah.
But you guys are the P&Z, so here's where we set the goals.
Gotcha.
Okay? Any questions on that? Can't you ask me a question?
No,
He's doing it for-
it's not for public This is not for public discussion.
Mr. Mendez?
Just here to listen?
Yes.
Well, I thought-
Excuse
Let
me.
make a statement.
We're
I
not
thought
here
that public notice needs to be put up so the residents are made aware of what type of business is going in. They're talking about just bringing it to
This is United
council
Excuse me.
without even letting the community
Ms.
know.
Mauricio,
Oh, bite me, Mickey.
We're never here to
Okay,
listen.
okay, hold on.
Or to be
Hold on, all we're
heard.
saying is we thought you had a presentation to make, and we were able to ask you questions. They said that we're gonna have town hall meetings for you.
but we're not having that yet. This
I
is a
know-
meeting
I
with the
know, but
planning
you're
and
just
zoning.
starting-
Meeting
You're
where
deciding
notices
things.
are supposed to be
You're
posted according to
deciding things.
Toma.
On the website.
No, I just looked it up. This is one of those
Okay.
meetings that should have been posted according to Toma.
Please.
It was posted.
Okay.
Tony, can they ask questions
No,
after the
they cannot
meeting?
ask questions, please.
After the meeting?
No, after the meeting, you can have all the conversation you
That's
want.
fine, it's just.
Just
it
let us
Mendez.
finish the meeting,
What is
please.
the
It wasn't clear.
timeline for this?
It wasn't clear
Well,
on the agenda.
I'm
that's
open
all.
to you. I know that it's new for you guys. I know that it's new. So let's go over, look at the process. We'll go over other issues.
So we have an open timeline, basically.
Well, we want to do it fairly quickly. You want to do it within about 6 months.
Okay,
Right.
6 months, there you go.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah.
But
That's
you
what we wanted
gotta
to hear.
remember, so this is just this one little part.
Right,
When we decide how we're gonna bring it out to the community,
right,
well, there's several different ways that we have to let them know,
Right.
and we have to give them a lot of time to
right.
to
So we'll
respond.
post those dates and we can
Absolutely.
have public input and all that.
Yes,
Okay.
yes.
So we have plenty of time, 6 months is plenty of time.
Yes.
Right. Well, we want to do it sooner than that, right? So because we want their input. We want to know what they
Right,
want
Yeah.
to do.
it's
We're
important.
not against
Yes.
them. Nobody's
Right.
against anybody here.
Right,
Yes.
right. yeah.
You have to work as a team.
Yes.
Decisions were
The
being made.
wording on here says, notice is hereby
I'm sorry,
given
what
that a
was,
meeting of the city of Sandy Oaks. We are
No,
the
no, no.
city.
It says
We
City
are
of
the
Sandy
city.
Oaks Planning and Zoning Commission.
Right,
That is what the meeting is
right.
for.
And it's open to the public.
And it is open to the public for you
There's no
to view the
citizens to be
mean.
heard.
Excuse me.
There's no citizens to be heard.
There is no
That's what-
citizens to be heard, okay? When there's a time for you to speak, it'll be notified on the agenda.
And since we're a new
Okay.
committee,
Information.
there's also a lot of things that people need to find out because there's a lot of unknown.
I know.
And that's
I
what
know.
creates some of the,
I know. So knowing that, I'm trying to gather as much information to give you, to help you realize what your job is. Your job is really important.
Yes.
Okay, so, I'll send you more stuff. I'll give you anything you want. We'll work together. If you guys are working and you want to meet on Saturday or talk on Saturday, we're open to all of that.
Awesome.
Yes.
We're gonna do town halls and probably internet questionnaires and stuff like that.
Absolutely.
I mean,
Yeah, we're gonna talk about
Yes.
those.
Yeah.
you're gonna have
You're gonna
all the
have-
input you want.
We're gonna try to get you online. We're gonna try to have something out here where you can come. We'll do all of that.
That's good.
Well, right now, I just wanted to get them.
We haven't met yet, so
Yes.
this is an introduction and a
Yes.
presentation
Yes,
for what's gonna come.
Correct.
correct. And we'll get that. We'll get the goals set. The goals have to be set by you all. We'll get those set and then how we're gonna implement those strategies. Okay, once we set that, then we involve everybody else.
Gotcha.
Yes.
We're gonna have a plan for year 1, year 2, all the way blah, blah, to year
You're gonna
5.
it's a comprehensive plan.
Right.
So the plan covers roads, utilities, how you gonna handle that? For instance, right now, you may have some drainage issues along the road because people built a driveway and put a pipe under there.
Yeah.
Well, in order to do that, on the public road, you gotta size the pipe, it has some drainage calculations, it's gotta flow all the way down the block, not just past your block. So you have to put in how you're gonna handle that. Is that gonna be a permit? Is that gonna be,
For an example, for year 1, we might wanna put in a soccer field here.
Oh, okay.
And year 2,
That's
we
right.
might wanna put in a softball
Right.
field here. So that's
Well,
how
so-
we're gonna do things, what we can afford, and as we can get them done by public opinion and approval.
So what we do is we set up that list. This is just the P and Z, what we're gonna do for the P and Z. But there's other things that are gonna come into play. At the end, after all is put into this big old list of everything we wanna do, then we put a budget in there. Then the hard part comes, how much does every part get? If you only have $1, how many pennies do you give each one? And then you go, yes, sir.
but we're not city councilmen. We're
Not
not
yet.
the ones,
No,
we're not
you're
the
not.
ones gonna decide
No,
the
you're
dollar
not.
amount.
All we're gonna talk about is
We're
our
just gonna do the
goals for
paperwork
zoning. That's right. You
And
do-
push it through.
You do the main part, this is the most important
Right.
part. The other parts are gonna come in too. So that's when everybody gets involved,
Yeah.
not just here. Right now, we just wanna figure out how you're gonna zone it, what do you wanna do, what are your plans?
It would be good for us to get a diagram, a little flow chart of the process.
Okay.
So people are informed.
Okay.
To keep us on track of where we're
Yes.
supposed to be.
I think there might be one in here.
I think there was.
Yeah, I think there might be one here. This is a good information. I went through a whole bunch of them and picked out one that I thought gave us the most. Okay, even though this says planning commission only, it talks about planning and zoning.
I think it's on page 5, maybe?
Yeah.
No, that's just,
It's not, but it's
Values.
not, if it's not good enough, we can find another
that's
one.
values.
We'll help you.
Yeah.
We're gonna guide you. We're not gonna leave you out there. And then when
Yeah,
we,
it
when
says-
we expand to the other areas, we'll help them too.
It tells what the planning commission does here,
Okay.
on page 10. Okay, does
I
anyone
know,
else?
I know that's a lot for you guys.
We're good.
Okay, so.
We're good.
So, and my number, I'll leave my card, they're here. Any questions, call. We'll answer any questions, just so we can get this process going and get it to the next level where we come up to the public.
Gotcha.
Does anyone at the table have questions for?
I'll leave my cards here.
Just curious, is Mendez Engineering working with some other towns?
Yes, yes, we just got picked up by St. Hedwig's for doing some other work for the city there. We work for Kerrville, we work for other cities, not doing master plans, but doing other projects, other types of projects. Right now, we do a lot of work in the city of San Antonio and some of the other cities within the city of San Antonio. So we do that.
Tony, do you have one more card?
I do, absolutely.
Not for me.
Who's missing?
From
Thank
Melissa?
you.
There you go. Yeah, and don't email me, call me, it doesn't matter, we work all the time. And so there's no, I mean, we're working on this together, so questions come up, I'll answer them. I'll find you information
Have we gotten off the starting blocks, or is this preparatory to getting off the starting blocks?
preparatory to getting up to start block. I gotta meet with city council.
Okay.
How long you been working with the city?
With
Sandy Oaks.
Of Sandy Oaks?
Yes.
We just got hired, not too long ago.
We'll just have to kind of
Yeah. Actually, we did a little bit of work with, we used to be M&S. We used to be with M&S when they were evaluating the roads. So we drove your city evaluating your roads.
Gotcha.
And then when this came up.
Any other questions?
Oh, I drive a gray Tundra out there. I just put signs on the doors because Mickey said, gotta have signs so everybody know what it is. So
Otherwise
if you
he'll
see
be-
us driving around, we're
No
always,
suspicious vehicles.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we'll be pulled over a couple times.
yeah. Yeah, so I'll be driving around looking at the streets and some of the drainage that you have.
Gotcha.
I have one question, for clarification. We just recommend to city council approves
Exactly.
whatever the plan turns out to be.
Quick question on that. Can they take an action without our recommendation?
Sure.
What
But we
the-
rely on, I mean, the whole planning and zoning, that's why the commission was created. There is a board of adjustments that is made up of the city council members. So if somebody comes and wants to reclassify a designation, they have to bring that before the board of adjustments. And so, I mean, that could come from here. Somebody could approach you about wanting to change a designation. So yeah, those things can be done outside of the council.
And like Mr. Mendez said, there's always room for.
Mr. Salcedo.
Mr. Salcedo. Sorry about that. So you mentioned about amendments and changes and that there's flexibility.
Absolutely.
That's key.
We can create it
Right.
however you want. I mean, this is where we do it, right here.
What do you mean by the buffer zone?
Well, like in the city of San Antonio, if you have a resident lot, right, and it's residential, but you're right on Culero's all commercial. You're gonna change it to commercial because you're right there, but the guy behind you is residential. Okay, so and you were residential when he moved in. So now to protect him, you want a 30-foot buffer.
Yeah.
Can't build anything in those 30 feet to protect him from sound or lights or whatever. You don't want to have those big lights over his house, so they create those buffers. See, and that's just that city. In here, I don't think you'll have that problem, but just something to to think about. Here's where you set the rules for people. You want to protect the people that have residents that are going to be next to a business. You know, that's not.
Anything else?
What was the possible action?
The possible action was on number 4.
No, number 5.
Oh, I'm sorry, on number 4, or number 5, there is no action.
It's just left
That's
over.
why it says possible,
Yeah.
just in case something came up.
Well, maybe we should discuss when we're going to have meetings.
What,
We already did that.
He mentioned Saturdays
with them?
with him.
Yeah, but that's not, it's not a public
Okay.
meeting, it's just a one-on-one for you
All right.
guys to talk to him about whatever questions you may have individually on.
Yeah, and
Your role
I'll
on
come
the
up with
commission.
different goals, and don't take my goals as gospel, I'm just throwing stuff out. You pick and choose what you want.
So the master plan covers pretty much all aspects of,
That's right.
okay.
The
that-
streets,
Streets,
yeah,
lighting,
public
fencing.
facilities, like if you want to build a building for yourself somewhere else, you put it in the plan now.
Okay, but like fencing, street lights, obviously
Yeah, how would you
engineering
like to
for
see that?
driveways,
Right.
mailboxes.
Yeah, well, what would you like to see the town develop as?
What's your vision for it?
Yeah, but for
Well,
P&Z, for
Mayberry.
zoning and
For
planning
planning.
purposes,
Yes.
right? So you're focused into that little niche.
Okay,
There's Mickey has the rest of the stuff.
sure.
So we good?
We need a motion
Anything
to
else?
adjourn.
We do,
I move that we adjourn.
Have a second?
7:01.
Do I have to do
Oh, wow, you guys
You
did it
do.
good.
You do.
We don't need, I need an unanimous.
No, you do not.
Okay, cool.
Adjourn at
7:01.
7:01.
Told you it was short.
Thank you.